This is a second part of a three-part series. Last week we talked a little bit about our virtual Walk for Kids, which is a peer-based fundraising event that we have annually. And this week we want to focus on the communication strategies for success that we implemented this year. And Jennifer did a great job introducing me, but I did want to share as a part of my introduction, I thought what better way to express my my role here and also part of the communication strategy by showing you why I walk. So I'm going to go ahead and show this to you guys. Oh, sorry. Actually, I have to turn my volume up so that you guys can hear it. My apologies. Okay.
I walk because everyone deserves to experience joy, especially our camp families.
So that's just one example of a Why I Walk video, which was one of the communication strategies, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in future slides. And as a part of my introduction, I did want to also introduce two members who are joining us today from the camp team, one of which is Fatima, our executive director, who presented last week, as well as Shannon, who is our program associate. And I want to give her kudos because Shannon was the leader on the team who created the framework for this communication plan last year for the Walk for Kids. And we were fortunate enough to have that as a baseline for implementing some new strategies, particularly when we were faced with shifting our event virtual. So starting with overall communication plan, we created this plan to roll out from December 2019 to April 2020, which was when our event took place. And it's actually ongoing now into June as we continue to fundraise. But this communication plan included all of our social media posts, email communication, our phone bank efforts, and text messaging as well. And I wanted to share some communication plan basics. First of which is to assign a communication point person. The second of which is engagement on all available platforms, meaning everything that's available to you to communicate with your supporters and with your camp communities. So those above are the ones that we have access to, and that might be different based on each program. To secure ambassadors to create content and also a connection to the impact. And lastly, utilizing team captains or identifying leaders in your organizations who are involved with the event to help create peer-based walker engagement. So moving into our communication plan, the first part is focused on our walker communication. So starting on the left, there's the types of communication we focused on. And like I said, we did a phone bank recruitment effort, and that entailed getting volunteers to help engage past walkers to get them to register again this year. And we also focused that list on super walkers to make sure that we were engaging those who fundraised $1,000 or more in past years. Secondly, text communication. We're lucky to have the tool through Ultra Camp, which I'm not sure if you have the ability or access to utilize that tool, but it gave us the opportunity to engage with the counselors and our camp families via text message. And additionally, we created unique incentives for these two groups via text, one of which was like if you register this week for counselors, you get, one person will get the opportunity to register first for their session for the summer. We also did weekly walker emails. So this allowed us to create a connection as a walk community by having these regular touch points. And it's also the preferred frequency and method of communication noted by walkers. We did a post-walk survey, and that's the feedback we got. We utilize constant contact, and so we're able to track how many people open the emails, and on average we have about a 50% open rate, It also has this great feature that allows you to resend emails to those who didn't open it quite yet. So that's a tool at your disposal if you utilize Constant Contact. And in terms of communication strategies, we broke it down by focus areas in terms of our communication timeline. So starting in January, the focus was really recruitment, just getting as many people to sign up for teams and individual involvement as we could. Like we said, focusing on those who participated in the past. But this year we also did a large focus on new walkers, particularly in our pool of counselors. In February, we focused on both recruitment and fundraising, and we instituted weekly challenges. And so some of these weekly challenges were, register this week or raise your first $100. So we changed it up each week. In March, we also focused on fundraising, and we instituted a weekly social media feature. And this was a challenge also to engage walkers. So we encouraged them to post their own YI walks and get reposted on the camp social media page, and also get entered to win gift cards. So in April, this is the month of our walk, and our walk was on April 5th this year, so it was pretty early in the month. And that communication really focused on reaching both the team goal and the individual goal, as well as how to participate in the virtual walk, since that became an online focused event. Secondly, strategies for communication with walkers is threshold incentives. And we created incentive levels. We have these each year. And this year we had, starting at $150 all the way up to $1,000, we have 4 different levels. And at each level, you receive a different camp item, and those are exclusive to the walk. And usually our camp community gets pretty excited about reaching those incentive levels and getting those items. Additionally, those weekly challenges I talked about, which include some camp items, gift cards, or donated items. And lastly, for walker communication, we focus on super walkers, which we consider to be those who raise $1,000 or more. And in looking at the numbers that we've raised so far, they account for 65% of team fundraising. And so I just wanted to share that number because you can see why focusing on that group would yield success for you in terms of fundraising. And we also did shout outs to motivate both of them and others who were involved with the walk. And then we had a special Super Walker challenge. We got some Disneyland tickets that were donated to our organization, so we put them up as our Super Walker challenge. Next piece of the communication strategies is team captain management. So on the left side, starting on the left side here with our management plan, we created a team captain handbook, and this was a great resource. We've been utilizing this for years, and we kind of look at it each year and update it. It has everything from the basics of utilizing the website to camper quotes and tips and tricks for fundraising that we've found to be successful. And this handbook is distributed at our kickoff event. And that's, we used to do the event for all teams, all individuals. And last year we shifted it to be a focus on just team captains. And we found that to be important because they're the ones leading the way with peer-to-peer engagement. And it gives them an opportunity to brainstorm together and also connect with one another to create like their own little team captain community. We had an amazing example of our team, our counselor team this year, kind of mentoring our camper team. And I think the perk of that is just making those connections for them to like lean on one another in this process. Another piece is weekly team captain emails. And team-specific challenges. And what I mean by that is we encourage the teams to create their own challenges because they know their team best and what would motivate them. So the counselor team is a great example. They did more specific challenges that were based on a week of giving, say. So like if you're the top fundraiser for this week, you get this prize. And we offered them camp items and also just support in their creation of challenges unique to their teams. And lastly, team communication. We encourage the teams to create unique Instagram accounts or Facebook groups, any way where they can have their own channel of communication to share those challenges and can communicate within their team. And in terms of management strategies that we found successful as a team, first of which is the breakdown of management roles. We're fortunate to have a strong team at camp, one that pitches in for every event. And so in terms of our breakdown of management roles, it was myself, our development associate, and Shannon all managing teams. And we broke that out based on Shannon managing some of the camp teams, Jasmine managing some of the camp family teams, and then I managed more of the corporate teams. And in terms of communication and management of team captains, each week when we would reach out, we would provide them steps to success. And that meant providing small incremental steps so they can reach their team goal. So we would break that information out from them for them by week, by month, and also like by team members, depending on the structure of the team. Additionally, we focused on top fundraisers. So we would give them the folks that were their top fundraisers so they knew who to engage on their team as well. The third point would be accountability calls and check-ins. I know that Shannon did a lot of this with her teams, and myself and Jasmine did as well. And those were helpful, particularly with the counselor team about 3 weeks out. That's when the fundraising really kicks off to high gear for us. So that was a good point for us to check in. And then from there, we checked in every week from then to the walk. But I think it's based on a team, team by team basis for that. And this year, we did in-person corporate meetings with our corporate teams to recruit their employees and get them to sign up. That was something we found successful. We also provided tools and tips for fundraising, a few of which I wanted to share with you, which is the how to ask. And we provided email templates both on our website and then via email every week. We would give them the framework for how to make an ask and what to ask for when they're seeking support for their Walk for Kids campaign. We also gave them the tool for why am I walking? Everybody involved with the walk has a personal connection, but for the corporate teams or for other people that maybe is not comfortable sharing their story, we provided them with an ambassador family story that they could utilize to give that context and that connection to our impact. We also gave them tools and tips for social media fundraising, which came into play for our virtual shift. And lastly, communication tailored to the team. I think for our email communication especially, a message that we would send to a camp family team would be very different than what we would send to a corporate team. So just utilizing your best, your relationship and also your best practice to tailor that communication to those teams. So the next section is about social media engagement. And for our social media plan, we started to institute in the month of March a weekly walk featured post using our Why I Walk videos. We also reshared all community posts. So anybody who was tagging us on social media, we would reshare on our story. And I think that started to create some movement and excitement from others in the community to also share how they were participating in the event. We engaged sponsors to create posts, and this helped promote the event. And also, we integrated fundraising communication into those messaging. So I think that also helped on that end. Additionally, we had an influencer post with a donate button on Instagram, and then also with text to donate instructions. So that again extends your reach for those within their network that might not be in your camp community or might not know about your program, but then it's still tied to fundraising for the event as well. We did a live text to donate event on our social media. And this was to fundraise, but we also wanted to boost morale leading up to the virtual walk day and kind of create that camp community and that camp feeling down the mountain. We did a rock and roll breakfast with it, which is something we normally do as a part of our program. And we did that virtually. So that's an opportunity that maybe some of you have to think, how do I take a program element and then move it virtually and also tie it to fundraising or your event. We did a countdown to the virtual walk day, which was a new element that we instituted this year. I think it got everyone excited about the event, and it also was a way for us to share information. We were finding that feedback we were receiving from walkers post-event was that they really enjoyed social media as a fundraising tool, but also as a communication tool for those who don't necessarily just rely on email to get that information. We also had our walk day experience on social media, and I'll talk more about that. So for engagement or opportunities for walkers to engage on social media, we had our Why We Walk videos. We had opportunities to be featured on camp social media. We had some virtual walk day challenges that were specific to encourage participation. And it also created social media content for us to share as well. And some of the examples being like a most spirited challenge. We also did a participation challenge and created some tools like a walk bib or a Why I Walk sign. These were elements they could print out and fill out and take a photo with and post. Lastly, we focused on social media as a fundraising tool. And here's a few examples of what that means. Creating Facebook fundraisers. On Instagram, you can add a donation button. So supporters can easily post that on their story, and supporters can just click there and donate. Our council team was super creative, and they created these bingo cards. And they were just images with a bingo card layout, and it encouraged supporters to help them complete their bingo card in support of their Walk for Kids fundraising. So we found that went pretty viral across the community because it felt very interactive. They would fill it out online and give shout outs to those who were supporting them. And then lastly, our Text to Donate Live fundraiser that I talked about.
Lauren, we have a quick question from the chat box.
Yeah.
Bruce asked, how many virtual walkers have participated in this fundraiser?
Okay, so this year for our walk, we had, I believe, 553 walkers. So that is everybody who registered to walk. So when we switched, we called everyone a virtual walker because everyone was virtually walking. We did uniquely find that we had more people signing up the couple of weeks before the walk than we ever had because of this shift to virtual, and they wanted to be involved and start fundraising. And when we get into the virtual walk day, I can talk a little bit more about like the numbers who actually participated, because we were a part of a larger walk. We actually, our walk day was combined with 7 other Ronald McDonald House Charities programs. So we had over 7,000 folks who were kind of looking at that content and engaged at some point either during the walk day or beyond. But of course that content was like well beyond our program. It included 7 other programs. So the number there is like much larger than just the camp community, of course. But hopefully that answered your question. Let me know if not.
Sorry. How many of the 500 plus walkers actually fundraised? That's the next question.
Good question. I don't know the number off the top of my head, but it's over 50%. I'll get the number. I can poke around and get that number and send it in the chat. But we do our IT contact. He does a reporting every week, and so he does track how many walkers are participating on average, how many walkers are actually fundraising and how much are they fundraising. So, but yeah, we did have most of which were fundraising, I think. And I think that a big hit to that number for us, unfortunately, was because we had A number of corporate teams registered to participate, but unfortunately, due to COVID-19 and their businesses being impacted and their employees all being dispersed remotely, they weren't able to participate in fundraising. So I think that has kind of skewed our numbers for this year. All right, I'll continue. I'll try to get that number for you. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the communication and transition to the virtual event, just to let you know, like when we had that detailed plan, maybe what changed or like changes we made or implemented in this transition. One of which is relying more on our existing relationships to increase the promotion of the event as a family-friendly virtual event with fundraising messaging integrated. And I listed out some of the relationships you might be able to lean on. Media connections, we have a PR company that helps support Ronald McDonald House Charities and the chapter as a whole. And so we leaned on them for media connections. We're actually fortunate enough to have a sponsor and board member who works for Univision, which is a huge network for radio and television here in Los Angeles. And they assisted by posting for us to promote the event. And additionally, our influencers, I'll talk a little bit about Carson, who helped us post. And then I think it's important to mention counselors and campers here because your campers and your counselors can also be your influencers. They're folks that have like a larger community outside of like maybe your immediate program community. So they could also be creating content for you, posting and sharing. So I think that's worth mentioning too. We also increased the frequency of our social media posts 1 week to the virtual walk day. Typically, we would post about 1 time a day on our social media, but we were posting at least 2 times a day sometimes, and even more on our stories between the content that we'd share. I mean, we had some days where there were like over 24 posts on our stories. We also increased the creation and use of videos, particularly to share how to participate. We were getting feedback from walkers that even though we were putting it in an email and they were getting that, people still had questions like, what is this virtual walk? What do I do? And so I'll show you the video that we shared as a tool to explain that a little bit more in another medium. We also increased the use of social media as a fundraising tool, like I said, with those text to donate events, as well as using those bingo cards with our community. So I wanted to share some sample communications so you can see what we've been talking about like in execution. Here is a slide showing the utilization of relationships to support our communication efforts. You can see here Univision, their community, they were finding, wanted to know a little bit more about how to stay active and promote wellness for families in their community. So the Walk for Kids was actually a great opportunity for them to share a positive way to be active with your family while at home, but also promote our event and promote our fundraising. So you can see that there. Jasmine, who is also our family recruitment manager, she was interviewed as a part of the morning news show as well to highlight our Walk for Kids. In the middle is Carson Leaders. He's a singer-songwriter. He has a large fan base on social media. And so we had a relationship with him. He's volunteered at our holiday party that we have each year. So we already had an existing relationship with him. So we followed up to have him support our Walk for Kids. This is an example of a post he made with that donate button. We also had a post that he did singing a song, an inspirational song, and we posted that on our social media versus having him post, and he had his followers go to our page to look at that, and we actually yielded more likes or views than we've ever had on a video. So I wanted to mention that as a tool for when you're reaching out to these different relationships to consider doing something like that. And then you see here, LA Kings Care Foundation helped post. Drew Dowdy is a longtime supporter of camp. He's featured here. And so they also posted on our behalf with a text to donate information in the caption.
Lauren, we have a couple of questions in the chat box.
Yeah.
The first questions are all walkers required to join a team?
Good question. No, they're not required to join a team. You could also join as an individual, and you get the same setup where it's like a page where you can share, customize your own unique page and share that with your community. So we actually found this year that there are some teams like who are really just individuals who make a team. So I think it depends on the person, I guess, but that is an option.
Awesome. The next question is from Philip. He asked, do you create shirts for the virtual walk?
Good question. So we do create a Walk for Kids shirt, and in Los Angeles, we're actually the largest walk in of the Southern California program, and we share our walk with the Los Angeles Ronald McDonald House. And so we create walk shirts every year. And on the front is just our Walk for Kids logo. And on the back is where we have sponsor logos. So we have our sponsor logos and the LA House sponsor logos. So we still created those and had those made, even though we did have a virtual walk this year. So as a part of registering for our walk, there's a $25 registration fee, and that includes your t-shirt. So it's to be determined when we're going to have the ability to have a maybe post-event celebration and hand out these incentives. We normally would do that the day of the walk. So that's something we still need to work out as part of this final lap effort that I'll talk about.
One more question. Rachel asked, question for the previous slide, were the bingo cards print at home templates, or were these featured on social media for people to share?
Yeah, they were featured on social media. I think you probably could print it if you wanted to, but it was meant for social media, and it was a really cool idea. And so I can share a template with you all maybe after I know we're going to share a bunch of resources. So it was really simple. It had little boxes on it. And the way they use it on social media is they would actually tag the person on the image that donated to them to fill that box. And Shannon's on here. I think she utilized the bingo card. So I don't know if Shannon wants to weigh in on her success or feedback on how that worked.
Yes, so it's definitely something we'll dive more into next week when we talk about the successes and strategies of the counselor team specifically. If you were on last week, and then as you hear Lauren speak, our counselor team was really successful, and this bingo card was part of that strategy. I did use it and found plenty of success. Personally, most of my network is through email and kind of through Facebook contacts. Not as young as some of our younger counselors. They particularly found the bingo card super useful within their network. You know, it'd be a clean, nice card that like had like a good camp logo or the Walk for Kids logo or a camp picture. It can really be personalized any way you want through utilizing things like Canva, which is a free app that allows you to kind of do like Photoshop type stuff. Or publisher type stuff and post those. So yeah, bingo cards were really successful, reposting like crazy and tagging each time someone donated, created quite a buzz.
Great, thank you, Shannon, for weighing in. And that they tied it to their Venmo, so people would have Venmoed them donations. It's just the second piece of it. All right, so I'll go on and let me know if anything else comes up. So I wanted to share with you, there's some video content in these next slides, and hopefully everybody could hear it clearly. One of the transitions in the virtual walk was we did these Why We Walk videos, and in the past we used to just encourage them, participants to post a photo. This year we moved it to video by doing examples ourselves as staff. We posted our own videos, but as we transitioned to a virtual walk, we changed the messaging to how we walk. So we're like, you could, walk in your neighborhood. You can, do a yoga class. We just want you to be fit, like being active in your community and show us how you're walking. So I'll play this now so you can see an example of that communication shift.
Hi, my name is Monet. I'm one of the Wolf Walks 2020 Walk for Kids team captains, and I'm going to be doing a super quick video about why I'm walking at the Walk for Kids and how I'm walking this year. So I walk because I was a camper for 15 years, and I want to make sure that all childhood cancer families get the same opportunity that my family was so blessed to have by going to camp for 15 years of my life. So I want to make sure that everyone gets that same opportunity, cost-free, of course. This year is going to be a little bit different because of the coronavirus, so I'm going to be virtually walking this year. But even though we can't attend the event, what's most important to me and to everyone participating in the walk is that we're still raising money and still focused on sending kids to camp cost-free, because there's life after the coronavirus, and fortunately kids are still going to get to go to camp. So that's why I'm walking. Thanks.
Ethan Salmron, one of the captains for the WOPE team 2020. I just wanted to say that hope everyone's staying safe. And, I just wanted to share that I walked because camp has done so much for me and my entire family when my brother was sick, when we were going through everything. And this is my chance to give back, and I just want to do everything that I can. And unfortunately, the walk this year has to be virtual because of everything going on with COVID-19. I hope everyone is staying safe. And, this year I'll be walking from home. But I'll just be continuing to fundraise and doing everything that I can to make sure the camp continues year after year.
Hi, my name is India, and I'm going to be participating in the 2020 Digital Walk for Kids because my twin sister Gracie is a childhood cancer survivor, and while she was going through recovery, camp provided a place of healing for me and my family. I am walking so that I can give back. I've been a proud camper since 2006. I've recently joined the Teen Advisory Committee, and I am walking by raising money as a member of the Wolf team for this year's walk. Thank you for everything, and I can't wait to see you at the walk.
All right. So that's just an example of a video that we shared on our social media. We also shared it as a part of our virtual walk programming.
Lauren, we have a quick question in the chat box. Michael from Camp Sunshine asked, I apologize, this is slightly off communications topic, but did insurance requirements change once you switched to virtual, and if so, how?
I know Fatih was on here, and I don't want to inaccurately answer this question, but in person, the event is a fairly large event. It's at Exposition Park, and we do have insurance for that large event since it has thousands of people and lots of moving parts. And so I know for us, we were fortunate that our location we were able to get our money back and like cancel everything that we kind of did. And we had a huge cost savings in terms of an in-person event to a virtual event. So I don't know if insurance was a part of that savings, but I do believe it probably was, but I don't have the exact answer on that.
Yeah, there wasn't, what Lauren is saying is accurate. I mean, there wasn't, we didn't need any special insurance to go virtual, so that was part of our cost savings.
Okay. So this next slide, it focuses on our virtual walk day. I thought it was important to share like what it looked like and just some key elements in taking your events virtual. If it's a similar format to a walk or a run, you might find these helpful. The first of which is we had a live host. You can see Jazzy here. She's our family recruitment manager. She was our host, and she helped create a flow of the program and also encourage engagement. Like I said, we all came together as 8 programs combining all of our content. And so she was like the thread that wove it all together. And she also was live on Facebook walking herself, which was very fun. But as people were posting, she would say, "Oh, I see you, like, you know, thanks for participating." And she was also making sure that we recognize their sponsors as well, which was an important piece. The virtual walk day was a good opportunity for us to continue to join together as a community online. I think that's the biggest takeaway, because the walk day for everyone is really a huge celebration of everyone's hard work and success and fundraising. So I think that in this virtual landscape, we still wanted that to be an opportunity. And you can see the photo I included here. This is the counselor team that joined together on a Zoom call the day of the walk, and we encourage those groups to come together on like Facebook Watch or Zoom or other ways together, so that they can both be watching the virtual walk day and the content as it happened, but still connect with one another. And they were celebrating big success with fundraising this year. We also celebrated our top teams, our top fundraisers, and super walkers. We did shout outs on our social media, and I think it's important to recognize, all of our successes in each person who contributes to that success. We also created opportunities with challenges and sharing posts the day of the walk. You can see the photo here is Emily McGowan. She's a camper parent, and she walked and she won our participation challenge. She was out there walking with her family, and she has a Walk for Kids team this year. And I wanted to play this video. I know I spoke about it earlier. This is the video where Jazzy explains how to participate in the walk, since we were getting that feedback that they wanted a little bit more information about that. So I'll play that for you now.
Hey everybody, Jazzy here. So we've been getting a lot of questions on what's going to happen on Sunday for the Walk for Kids. So I'm super excited that I will be hosting the virtual Walk for Kids right in my backyard. And I hope that you can join me at 8 a.m. So here's what I need you to do first. You need to go on Facebook, and I need you to find the RMHC SoCal page and hit that like, so you can start receiving alerts and notifications once we begin. For those of you virtual walkers, check your emails. There's a Walk for Kids bib. There is also a Why You Walk sign. Start using those so that you can practice and you can take those selfies and post them on your social media platforms. And also don't forget to tag camp and use the hashtag Walk for Kids 2020. For those teams, go ahead and start planning those group chats or those video calls so you can support each other throughout that time. Start picking a spot where you're going to be celebrating the Walk for Kids on Sunday. It could be your kitchen, it can be your backyard, it can be your front yard, whichever you feel comfortable. There's also a Spotify playlist linked down below, so you can start grooving and moving. That way you continue to groove and move on Sunday. And also for those of you that haven't registered yet, it's not too late to register. Join a team or be another individual virtual walker. We look forward to having you on Sunday. I can't wait. Again, bright and early, 8 a.m. I will be here. I hope you are too, celebrating from the comfort of your own home. And we're going to be getting to know a little bit more about the other programs within RMHCSE. So I'm very excited to be highlighting everyone that's just working super hard. Thank you again to all of those donating and working hard to fundraise that money and just raising awareness for these incredible programs. So I look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Until then, take care. Bye.
You can see Jazzy has a lot of energy, and she was the perfect host for this kind of event. And then next, our final lap effort, and this is where we're currently at with our Walk for Kids, which I wanted to share with you some strategies. We created a final lap video. I'll share that once I go over all these points that we're sharing both via email as well as social media to help promote like where we're at now and where we still have to go as a part of the Walk for Kids and reaching our goal. We're planning to send bi-weekly walker emails to keep that community engagement, walker engagement, specifically for those who want to participate in this final lap fundraising who haven't yet reached their goal. We're also doing a weekly walker feature on social media where we focus on some of those Why I Walk videos, some new videos where we have camp footage integrated and this final lap language just as a constant reminder that we are still fundraising. This is still part of our creating our impact. And then we also have a special incentive. We added that for Final Lap Fundraiser. So anyone who is still fundraising from the day after the walk until June 30th will get an extra incentive. And in terms of fundraising strategies, like I said, we extended fundraising. We also extended the incentive qualifications until June 30th. So if you reach those incentive thresholds, you'll still receive those items through June 30th. And normally the cutoff would be like our walk day. And we're prioritizing our outreach specifically for those who haven't reached their goal, starting with potential super walkers, so those who've raised maybe $500 or more. And then secondly, what we're calling close to goal individuals, and they're who've raised 40% or more towards their goal. And then that next second level of outreach to those who are still under their goal, but maybe it's more than 40%. And that's on like a team by team, individual by individual basis. And additionally, we are continuing to live fundraise on social media. We have a plan to do a live raffle in the beginning of May. And then we're also in communication with some of our corporate teams and other camp teams about doing those live dance party, rock and roll breakfast events that are specifically with funds going to their team. And then let me show you this final lap video.
Camp Ronald McDonald for Good Times is a community of thousands of campers impacted by cancer. Our campers, volunteer doctors, nurses, counselors, and supporters formed teams to raise funds via the Walk for Kids to keep our program free of charge. With 3 weeks until the Walk for Kids, Camp shifts our single largest fundraising event of the year virtual. With 1 week to the virtual walk, our teams take to social media to make a community-wide call to action. The teams get stronger in numbers and create new innovative ways to fundraise, motivated by their dedication to bring camp's impact of healing places traditional medicine can't reach. By virtual walk day, our teams surpass their goals and yet continue to fundraise, proving that camp is not just a place, it's a dedicated community of compassion, love, and unity. You can make a difference in the lives of children with cancer and their families in your community. Join us to take our final lap and reach our goal of $305,000 by June 30th. We need your help now more than ever, as we're stronger together.
Okay. And then finally, I just wanted to go over some big takeaways to recap our time together talking about communication success strategies. So create a clear, detailed communication plan and assign a point person to execute. Team management creates accountability and increased walker engagement. Utilize your existing relationships to create new promotion and fundraising opportunities while expanding your reach, and secure ambassadors to create compelling content with a clear connection to your impact. And lastly, use social media as a tool to build a virtual community and promote fundraising.